Hello, my beautiful class. Today we are going to be talking about making the outline your friend. We are still in the midst of researching for our research paper, but after the Works Cited page, the outline is the next biggest deal that you have to work on. And it is actually so important to do a good job on your outline, because if you do a good job on your outline, writing your paper, super easy. So our objectives, students will be able to create an outline that includes specific details and sources. You can see in my examples, I just put in parentheses the name of the source that I got the facts from, and that helps you, after you create your outline, to make it easier to write your paper and not think, oh shoot, where did I read that extra detail that I want to include? You have the source in your outline. You're cool. And I say to prepare them for writing their papers, because obviously the better your outline is, the easier your paper will be to write. Last time, we had this beautiful graphic organizer talking about, okay, this is what your paper is going to look like. You have your introduction, body paragraph, another body paragraph, third body paragraph, and then your conclusion. Actually, that's just a suggestion. I got a couple of questions. You can have more than 3 body paragraphs if you want. No, your paper, unless they're really robust paragraphs, your paper has to be 3 pages minimum. The guideline is for 6 pages maximum. You can go over that if you want. But please, I have to read all of these papers, so make sure it's very interesting. So, introduction, body paragraph number 1. That little backwards P with the double line is a symbol for paragraph. Body paragraph 2, body paragraph 3, conclusion. So if I were to write a very, very basic outline, what would it look like? My introduction, my first paragraph is going to be about baby seals are fascinating. We're just sticking with the baby seals. Body paragraph number 1, maybe I want to talk about what they eat. Then I'm going to talk about where they live. Then I'm going to say, oh, what's their social life like? My conclusion is going to be, oh, look, they're still fascinating, even though I know all this extra stuff about them now. And if I were a student, I might say, look, Miss Gibson, I have everything you require in an outline. And I would say, self, that outline is just a little straw stick figure man. We want to have a robust outline, like a skeleton. So it's so easy to see where all the different bones connect, and you have a much better idea of all the different things about your outline from, rather than a stick person, we want a full-fledged skeleton. How do we make this change? Adding details! Yeah! Details are the spice of life, but especially the spice of writing. But I'm regretting saying that because some details are boring. Let's not worry about boring details right now and move on. So again, we have this outline. We're going to focus today on the body paragraph, because everybody seems like they've got those 5 things down. Introduction, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, body paragraph 3, conclusion. You got it. But let's get down to the paragraph level. And I have a little clip right down here of this example says supporting detail 1, supporting detail 2, supporting detail 3. But what does that look like? So I've got my stick figure outline over there, and I want to turn it into a skeleton. I want to make it a little bit more detailed so I can see what's really going on. Instead of just saying where baby seals live, I need to write about my talking points. Now you can see these aren't very specific talking points. They're just a general direction for the sentences in this paragraph. So I'm going to say, oh, it's cold in their environment, but they have blubber, so it's okay. They love to swim, and in parentheses I say San Diego Zoo. That's a clue to me as a writer, thinking, oh, that fact must be a source that I found from the San Diego Zoo. The next one also has a source in parentheses. It says they love to swim in groups, and in parentheses it says Encyclopedia Online. Now there are like a bazillion encyclopedias online, so hopefully this is the only online encyclopedia I referenced, or I just know which one it is. So the format that I want you to take for this outline is going to look like this. Instead of just giving me the things in blue, I also want you to give me the things in black. So if I were to expand upon this outline over here and make it fit this template, I'm not going to fill in the whole thing for you, but you can see, instead of just saying, oh, my first paragraph is about where baby seals live, I say, oh, it's about the environment. And here are my talking points, and I have 4 of them. Usually a robust paragraph has 3 to 6 sentences. But of course, sometimes you can have a really long sentence and a really little one, so I'm hesitant to give specific guidelines on that. But this template has 4 talking points. I'm going to say you need at least 3 to make it great. Making research papers great again. I did another example of, I said baby seal's social life in my stick figure outline up here. For my skeleton outline, I'm going to say, oh, I'm going to talk about families. They're polygamous. Polygamous. That's when parents of the family have more than one mate. Baby seals are born live, so they don't come from an egg. They're also born furry. And you can see for all of these details, I have sources. So I know when I go back to my outline that I don't have to dig it up and go through all my research thinking, shoot, where did I read that? So this outline is what I want you to base your outline on. I want you to follow this template of not only telling me the topics of your paragraph, but also giving me supporting details. Whether those supporting details are common knowledge, like seals live in the cold, or seals have blubber, or specific details with sources in parentheses. They love swimming in groups. But let's say you say, Ms. Gibson, this skeleton outline is not enough for me. I want to do a more detailed, robust outline so I don't have to work as hard later on. And I would be like, more power to you. So this is an example where I took this paragraph A in my outline, and I fleshed it out a little more. And you can see these are short phrases and even sentences that give me an even clearer direction for when I finally decide to start actually writing my rough draft. So I say the Arctic is very cold. Seals have blubber to protect them from the cold. Seals love to go swimming. Seals often swim in groups when they go hunting. So instead of just saying swim in groups, I say seals often swim in groups when they go hunting. That gives me a little bit more to go on later on, so you don't have to do all the inventing of all the sentences on the spot. If you prefer to outline with a more robust outline, like this right here, instead of a simpler one over here, that's fine with me. I'm only introducing you to this so you can use it as a resource. You do not have to use this. But what I like about this is then your paper, instead of being just a skeleton, your outline is a little bit more like a skinny Steve Rogers, right? Because you're like almost to where you need to be. You're at the camp. You're like in the right direction. You have quite a few specifics to go off of, because eventually we want your paragraph to and paper to be as buff as Captain America. You are going to have all the details. You are going to have power in those sentences, and you are going to be able to knock it out of the park. So this is the kind of outline that I want, and it is due on Monday. Remember, you can't just tell me what your introduction, what it's about, your body paragraph. You need those supporting details, and if there's supporting details that aren't common knowledge, I want you to tell me where you found that knowledge. You don't have to give a full citation. I just want in parentheses a note so I know that you remember where you got it from. Like you see in my examples over here, I just have, San Diego Zoo, or Mammal Marine Center, or Britannica. So they're enough for you as the author to remember where you got that data from. There are a couple other resources. Tomorrow you're going to be working on your Works Cited page. The best resource I've found for Works Cited are actually called the Online Writing Center from Purdue, and this is not a clickable link for you guys because it's a video. You have to type in tiny.cc.in/in-text citations, and that will take you to an online writing center that explains how to do in-text citations, which is when you write something in your paper, but you don't have space in your sentence to say, this was said by Archibald Fizzles. I was going to say Fizzbottom, and then I thought you probably shouldn't say butt in class, Ms. Gibson. And instead of putting the full author's name and taking the time to say quote, unquote, if it's just a paragraph, you can put the author's name and the page where you found it in parentheses. And there are a lot of different variations on how you cite it, depending on how you say it in your paper. And this page goes through every single one of them, all for you. The next thing is creating a works cited. The best thing I have found for creating a works cited is called Son of Citation Machine. And just Google Son of Citation Machine, and your paper needs to be an MLA format. That's the handbook for writing English papers and many other papers based in the liberal arts or humanities. And so there's a specific way to format things, and it will show you. All you have to do is enter the information for your sources. You'll say, oh, I found the website here. Here's the link, and I accessed it on this day. It looks like it's published by so-and-so, and here's the author. And you put it all into this various boxes, and then you click a button, and it boops out your citation. And so you don't have to worry about the formatting because the machine will do it for you. If you're interested in looking at a sample paper, one of the best ones I found online, I made a link for. So you go on www.tiny.cc/sample paper, and it will bring up, I believe it's an 8-page paper, but it has 2 pages of citations. And you can see how it's formatted and what really works about the flow of the paper. It seemed a pretty age-appropriate example. So if you have questions about that, I know a lot of you really benefit from seeing what you're supposed to be producing. So our objectives today, students will be able to create an outline that includes specific details and sources and prepares them for writing their paper. The better your outline is, the easier your paper is going to be to write. You have a week between, so your outline is due on Monday. There's no assignment for class today. I'm just going to look for these attributes in the paper, in the outline on Monday. And then a week from Monday is your rough draft. So the better job you do on your outline, the easier your rough draft will be to write. You can find me on social media. Thanks so much. I hope you have a great day. Ciao.